darlings, welcome to my sector of the universe. This is Jess from Capella Wellness, here to help you step into your truth and star into your power. For those of you who've never been here before, welcome. Thank you so very much for being here for the first time. For those of you who are returning, thanks for coming back to watch another one of my videos. So we're going to look into the weekly Archangel messages, see what they have for us for this week. We're also going to get some wellness tips and whatever else Holy Spirit and the Archangels want to convey to the collective. Remember to be honest with yourself in your situation. Don't force anything, and understand this is for your spiritual growth. Okay, that is what this is intended for, to help you with your healing and your purpose. All right, so let's see what Holy Spirit, Archangels, Galactic Families, Pleading Syrians, Jesus, Mary, Magdalene, Mary have for us for this week, the week of July 17th, 2023. And remember, even though it's around this time, if you come across this video and it has nothing to do with July 2023, there's still something for you here. Now, July 17th is the new moon in Cancer. It's also opposing Pluto. We're focusing on really learning how to feel and allowing ourselves to just be open and honest, and to spend more time with families, spend more time in the home. Maybe if you don't really have that much time you spend in the home or enjoying your home. Pluto is going to come in to really push us into this. It's the planet of power and destruction. It comes in to say, you know what, you're doing this no matter what. I don't care what you have planned. I don't care what you've got going on. You're focusing on nurturing yourself, taking excellent care of yourself, slowing down. Cancer is water energy. It's flow. We're not in the rapids or anything like that. We're staying in the flow. So this is really about that self-care, self-nurture, and also learning how to balance taking care of yourself and taking care of others. All right, there's got to be a balance with everything. So we have the playtime card here. All right, it says the dolphins know the importance of playing, as joy creates miracles and manifestation. It's time to go have some fun. It's time to do some, go have a play date with somebody, even though you're an adult. Okay, maybe have a play date with your kids. All right, if you have kids around you, go do something fun with them. This is tapping into our childlike energy. I said this in my live last night. If you haven't watched my live message on YouTube, go look at my live stream playlist, or just go look up the last videos that I've done, because I talked about, with that page of wands, tapping into our curiosity, looking at things through the eyes of a child, and really tapping into that fun playfulness of that page of wands, right? So we're learning here this week to kind of be more like children. And I know that sounds a little bit odd to some of you, but we can't forget that we have that inner child within us. We're programmed to put that aside. It's adulting time, and you have to be doing this, and you have to be serious all the time. No, you don't. No, you don't. That is what gets us to have boring lives, and it gets us to live a life of boredom, lack of excitement. The energy gets stagnant. It's kind of like, it can lead to mopiness, or it can even lead to excuse me anger, whatever. So when you're in this energy of playing, it could be playing music, it could be playing games, it could be whatever this means for you. It raises your vibration, right? It gets your energies going. If you look at little kids, they get excited when they're going to the playground, or they're going to a birthday party, or they're out in the beach playing with the sand, or they're at the zoo and they're getting excited about all these animals. Try to get back into that. All right, Venus is about to retrograde in Leo. It's there now, but when it's retrograding, we're going to start looking into those things. Leo rules the 5th house, which is children are in that 5th house. We're getting back into what used to bring us joy as kids, or was getting back to these things that we love to do. All right, so there's a lot of inner child energy this week. Going fun, maybe going to a zoo or something like that, doing things that you used to do when you were a child that you love to do, these hobbies, these trips even. I'm hearing something about Disney World or something like that, trying to be a kid. You know, there's no reason to be adulting every time. Again, there's a balance with that too. So not only does it create joy, this joy in this creates miracles and manifestation, but it also does something to your psyche, because you start to realize, man, life is fun. I forgot how fun this was. And some of you are going to start realizing, this doesn't bring me joy anymore. This is not as fun as I thought it was. You know, it's like, let me go try other new ventures and other new avenues to see what else lights me up, or what else is going to bring that funness, that magic back into my life, right? That excitement. You know, I've gone through many cases where certain things that I used to enjoy, I didn't enjoy it anymore, like my career. And God was like, well, you're leaving your career, and even doing things on my channel or other stuff, right? Yeah, this was fun for a while, but it's like, it's not fun anymore. I just don't feel it anymore, right? So if you start feeling these things, guys, just allow that to just play out, okay? Play time, play out. Play on, play out. This Black Street, not Backstreet Boys, it's Black Street. I can't get those things confused. So go do some fun activity. Go bowling. Get an archery set. That's funny because I've been trying to get the archery set and I keep forgetting about it. But because I loved archery as a child. So now my guys are reminding me to go buy the archery set and just like, there's this thing with my past lives with archery too. Apparently I was an excellent archer back then. Something with a crossbow too. But anyway, yeah, so this is really tapping into that inner child, guys, and watch how it starts changing up the energy for you. Even watching, you know, movies that you used to love as a kid, right? Like every now and again I'll watch my Beauty and the Beast movie, and there are all these other movies that I watched as a child that are on the list that I got to start looking at, you know, kind of viewing again. You know, playing board games, even something along those lines. Nintendo, like, which reminds me, because I gotta hook up, because now I have my stuff back from Virginia, I gotta hook up my old PlayStation because my son had took his PlayStation. I gotta hook it back up to this TV and start playing some freaking Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. I was actually talking about fatalities with my parents with Mortal Kombat, which is hilarious. I was tapping into my my childhood there, and my dad watched one of these videos with I think it's Kenshi's helicopter fatality. For those of you who know this, you know what I'm talking about. Yes, I do play that stuff. I've been playing video games since Nintendo came out in 1985. So stuff like that, which is reminding me, when I said I was going to get my PlayStation, I was going to hook it back up to my TV and start playing video games. I'll probably do that after I do this or something. Anyway, the whole point is, you know, doing something fun, okay? And the bottom of the deck, which is interesting here, is self-forgiveness. All right, let go of old guilt and remember that you're God's perfect child. And look what it says there. You're God's perfect child. You're not God's perfect adult. Okay? Don't get it twisted. You are not God's perfect adult. You are his child. You will always be looked at as a child, where you're nurtured and you're cared for. And this is also doing that for yourself. Carry for your inner child. There's something here about somebody, maybe you were listening to your guidance, or you weren't really, you know, living a life that had a lot of fun in it, and you've been in this cave and you're kind of like brushing your hair or whatever. Maybe you're literally brushing your hair now while you're listening to this. Your head's down, right? Maybe you're realizing you didn't play enough with your kids growing up. You didn't have that fun time. You were too very serious, okay? I'm getting very strong Capricorn for some of you. Some of you may be Capricorn Sun or have Capricorn Moon or something. That came out of left field. So, and that's not going to resonate with everybody, but just listen, okay? If you're that person who was really, you're feeling down and out, you feel guilty because you didn't really continue to have a fun life growing up. You got super serious and it was work, 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 right? All work and no play makes Johnny a dull boy, whatever the heck that thing is. What did I say about boredom? Dull. And then you get a little cranky, you get moody, and it's like, I'm an old man type of thing. No. You can be 70 years old, be an old man, but still have, like, be a kid. I've seen this before. You know, I see it with my grandparents, okay? And they're close to their 90s. And I see them tapping into that every now and then. And I try to bring that out of them now that I'm here. And they start to go back to remembering how much fun they used to have, or they start to make these jokes, right? It's beautiful to watch when my own grandparents who are pushing 90 are tapping into that energy. You are being asked to do that too. So some of you feel a little bit guilty because of this, right? It's not going to resonate with everybody. I'm getting a strong feeling for some of you. You're like, I spend so much of my time just being an adult and just working and just doing like adulting things, because thinking that I had to do that all the time, that my childhood was over, that ship has sailed. Absolutely not. Again, you are God's perfect child. You're not God's perfect adult. He doesn't call you an adult. He calls you a child. And when I connect with God, he always refers to me, if it's not by my first name, it is my child, my child, my child. He never refers to me as my adult. That seems a little funky, right? It seems a little off to you, right? So if you are this person who's kind of like, I didn't really enjoy my life. I didn't really do those fun things. I didn't play with my kids enough. I didn't play with myself. I didn't do these fun things. Guess what, everybody, or whoever this is for, now is the perfect time to start doing this, no matter how old you are. And don't let that haunt you, okay? This could also be for others of you with music. I'm hearing playing musical instruments or writing music or something, that you spend a lot of your time where you love to play a guitar or the piano or the violin or the flute or whatever, or you loved composing music, you loved listening to it even all the time, and you put that by the wayside as you got older. Something happened because of that. It took you out of that element. Something saddened you. Something happened that kept you from playing musical instruments or listening to music or doing something with art, like playing with crayons, Play-Doh, throwing art at a canvas type of thing. You name it. But I'm getting a strong energy for some of you, it has to do with music. But again, for those of you, when it comes to this, God's telling you, don't beat yourself up about it. Because either now you're going to start doing this more, or you've been doing this lately and you're like, why did I stop playing music? Why did I stop doing this? It's okay. Don't beat yourself up about it. But the guidance this week is, because Venus goes retrograde this week too, in Leo, and we're feeling the energies of this new moon in Cancer. Now's the time to start nurturing yourself with that motherly energy, but you are nurturing your inner child. And you're probably also doing more nurturing with your kids, if you have kids, or something else, by having fun with them. Playing Legos, playing Street Fighter with your kids, right? A video game, I don't know, you name it. There's nothing wrong with this. You got to get back to that innocence. This is the end of the innocence, like Don Henley says. I believe it's Don Henley, because I sometimes get Don Henley confused with Steve Winwood. But again, with the music thing, you can have fun in life. It's what I do. And if I'm going to be completely honest and vulnerable here, right? For me, and me being female, I still make really crass jokes. I'll make fart jokes, you know, like there's the other day, actually, I burped like out of nowhere and I'm making a joke out of it. My mom was a little whatever, but my dad kind of like played along with it, right? Because then my dad's got that sense of humor too. And it's kind of like I'm trying to bring that childlike energy back out from my parents as well. It's important, right? I laugh at stupid shit, okay? I'm Gemini sun. I'm one of the early signs in the zodiac, so I've got this youthfulness to me, and I got to keep that intact if I want to bring more youthfulness into myself. Now that I'm hearing this is probably why I don't look my age. If you don't know, I'm 43 years old. I have a 14-year-old son, okay? And a lot of people think I'm way younger than I am. But that's because not only am I doing my self-care, my nurturing, I'm still having fun in life. Every now and again, I still do childlike things. I'll be immature for a little bit because I'm allowed to be. I'm God's perfect child. I don't have to be perfect based on what society tells me is perfection, or I have to be an adult. I have this youthfulness to myself because I do a lot of this playtime. I have fun. This could even be dancing around like silly. You know how kids, they do these silly moves when they're listening to music? It's wonderful. Maybe you need to go watch children have some fun and engage in that every now and again. It brings out your inner child, right? Silly things. Allow yourself to be silly. You are a perfect child of God when you do that. Society wants you to think that you're not. That God wants you to be serious all the time. That He wants you to adult all the time. Absolutely not. It takes the joy away, doesn't it? When we're focusing on paying bills and the 9-to-5 job if you got it, or responsibilities as a parent, right? And I've been a single parent for years. But I've learned to take care of myself and to have fun for myself too, especially when my son's away. I still do fun things for Jess. And that youthfulness, inner, is expressed in the outer. So some of you may feel like you look older than what you are. You feel more tired than what you should be. You feel more bored. You feel more grumpy than you should be. It's because you haven't spent enough time tapping into your inner child. But again, don't feel guilty about it. Stop self-sabotaging. If you're getting this message now, and you're realizing this, and this is hitting you in your heart space, this is the perfect time to start reevaluating what you were doing in your life and start incorporating more fun into it. Okay? It does boost your manifestation skills, but here's the thing. A lot of people are so focused on manifesting, new moon, manifestation. Set your intentions. If you set an intention to manifest something like love or money, but you're not in the vibration in it, it won't manifest. You're here to be in a state of bliss and joy. This is what God wants you to be in a state in, more in, as opposed to you manifesting things. You've got to be in the vibration to do it. You can write intentions all day, every day, but you are not acting like a kid, and you're not doing silly shit, and you're not going off the walls every now and again and having fun. Guess what? You're out of alignment with that manifestation because the vibration is not there. If you feel guilty, if you feel like you got to keep yourself in a cave, maybe there's something about some of you who live in a cave. Not literally, but you know what I mean, like a man cave type of thing. And you're kind of being a homebody, or you're hiding yourself, and it's like, I just want to sit in here in my cave and not do anything. Go out and play. It's like little kids. Like when I was younger, we were always outside. Now with all the social media and stuff, it's hard for kids to, get outside. Go do something fun. Go do something, some activity, right? Get out of social media. Maybe this is for some of you to stop focusing so much on social media. Maybe you're inside the house all the time looking at videos and stuff. Now, if you're watching my stuff, that's great, but I'm supposed to be giving you guidance here on what to do, okay? Get outside. Do something. Go play. Go tap back into those things that you love to do as a kid. Whatever this is for you, you know what this is. It's time for you to get out of your cave. But there's also an internal cave for some of you, not a physical cave or being in the house. This is you getting your inner child outside of your body. Stop holding it in there and stop locking it up in a box. It's like a child being locked up in the room. Get out of it. There's so much more for you to see. There's a whole world out there for you to see. Like God told me I was supposed to go to the beach today, but I saw the radar and this nasty red stuff was coming in. And as soon as I got in my car and turned the corner, because I need to drive my car so that the battery doesn't die, so the car doesn't, and I'm trying to avoid having to jump the car all the time because that kills the car too. So I hadn't driven my car in a couple of days, and I told my parents, hey, I'm going out. I was gonna have some fun, but I got caught in a really nasty storm, 60-mile-per-hour winds. I saw palm fronds flying everywhere, but I was actually having fun driving in a nasty storm. And I was listening to this song by Obi Bermudez called Antes that I hadn't heard in a long time. That reminded me of my teenage years. And it ties into my grandfather, who passed away a long time ago, right before I graduated from college. So I'm tapping back into that, and I'm singing because I love to sing and I love listening to music, especially when I'm driving or whatever I'm doing. But I'm in the middle of this crazy storm. Like, okay, God, this is weird. Because, you know, I passed by a really bad accident. I'm like, God, just protect me as I'm doing this. But even though I'm not doing something that's like at the zoo, or I wasn't able to go to the beach, because that's my fun thing, I was having fun driving in a torrential downpour and lightning all over the place and the winds blowing like I'm in the middle of a tropical storm. And I'm still singing. And I'm watching the palm fronds fly from the trees, and I laughed at it, and I was like, this is fucking cool. Being fascinated by nature, that's a childlike thing. And I did a big loop around in the city that I'm in, and then I came back. Stuff was flooding already. And I was trying to avoid the puddles, and God's like, no, just step in it, like a kid would do. So I immersed my feet in the puddle that was right where I parked my car in front of my parents' house, and the front of my parents' house was flooded. And it's 22 minutes as I say this, and it's like, why am I going to get worried about stepping in this massive puddle? Lakes were starting to form in the neighborhood because I drove around the neighborhood and lakes were starting to form. It's like, oh my God, look at this. So I stepped in the puddle. I didn't jump over it. I didn't try to go around it. I went right through it, and I was wearing flip-flops, okay? So there's a reason why God had me go through this, because as usual, every time I do something unusual, it's part of my teaching. It's part of what I'm supposed to be sharing with the rest of you, all right? But you've got to do things differently. You've got to do things that really bring you joy, but it's also tapping into your inner child. Morning affirmations keeps coming up. It's underneath the self-forgiveness card. Say positive affirmations each morning to open the gates of manifestation. Again, yes, there's manifestation stuff here, but my thing is getting you guys to a higher vibrational state, because if you're not there, you can't manifest the things that your heart wants. Remember, like attracts like. It's not just the law of attraction. There's a law of resonance here too. The law of vibration. You attract what you're vibrating at. And of course, there's always divine timing in this when it comes down to what it is you're attracting. The bigger the manifestation, the longer it takes. And if you are at a super high frequency and you're manifesting some insane miracles, like supernatural stuff, that's gonna take some serious orchestration by God and the heavens and the archangels and everything. So don't be thinking that you get to this vibration and you're tapping into your inner child and doing all these fun things and stuff's not manifesting. You still got to believe that it's already manifest. You still got to get in the excitement that it's here. You know it's coming. And it could be years before you see it in the physical. It's a very hard thing to do, but that's because some of you are manifesting huge things. Top of the deck is accept heaven's help. You've prayed for help, so get out of the way and let heaven help you. If you've been asking God for things, you've been praying to God for things, and that's why I'm saying with the manifestation, and you're not seeing it, you gotta keep the vibration. You got to keep the light on. You got to keep going. Okay? This is now a time for play this week, guys. It's not a time for work, because what they're saying in astrology, this is going to be a very challenging week. We are having a shifting of the nodes. We're going from Aries North Node to Libra South Node. All right? We got Venus going retrograde 5 days after that. A lot of the other outer planets are in retrograde already. God's calling all of you to start playing outside before you get hit hard by something, is what I'm being told. You ask God for help, raise your vibration, get back into that joy, play. You gotta work hard. Yes, you work hard. Some of you have worked really hard. Now it's time to play hard. Stop freaking out about your to-do list. Stop thinking about all the stuff you got to do for your mission work or all these other things. I know this is a message for me too. It's time to play hard, ladies and gentlemen. And it starts this week. Before something hard hits you. Thank you for that. All right? Let God and heaven and the archangels help you. It's now their turn to work their supernatural stuff. It's now your turn to play hard. Okay? It's your turn to tap into your inner child and just have fun. Yes, you can do these things that you know you gotta do. Especially if you're mission oriented, you're working your purpose. It doesn't mean you just completely stop cold turkey. But God wants you to play harder, because you've already done the hard work for some of you. All right? Get out of the way. Some of you are standing in your own way of the help coming in. This could also be God has already sent you help. It's a person or something, and you're not accepting it. Maybe it has to do with playing more, having more fun, tapping into your inner child. You know what this is. This card indicates that you've been straining and working too hard and that you've lost your original focus. You're striving more out of habit than out of a clear direction. The dolphins ask you to stop and divert your attention through silliness and non-competitive play. Any kind of playfulness will shake up your ruts and routines and allow you to regain perspective on what is important and what is not. Playing is a magical form of medication and meditation. I didn't read that by accident. As it opens your heart chakra and allows your creative spirit to tap into divine wisdom. If your playfulness involves outdoor physical activity, the extra oxygen will also spark new ideas for you. So they want me to read Accept Heaven's Help before I read the forgiveness thing. Accept Heaven's help. You've asked, what should I do next? This card responds, trust that your prayers have been heard and answered. Simply rest and retreat for now. After all, you prayed for divine intervention, so step aside and let heaven intervene, as this is the help you prayed for. You can assist the process initiated by your prayers through quiet contemplation. Ask heaven to give you very clear, easily understandable guidance, letting you know if you need to take any action. In the meantime, enjoy knowing your angels and guides surround you in your situation with loving care. So what's interesting is I was going to do this video, right? I was like, God, I have all these videos to do. What do I do? And I know if you've been watching my content, I'm not on a set schedule, and God doesn't want me to be. They always say on YouTube, you got to crank out this stuff, and you got to put out these videos at a particular schedule, blah, 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 blah. No. They wanted me to do it. They wanted me to flip the bird to that, because I'm listening to God. I'm not listening to what other YouTubers and other people do. Because I'm trying to call something in that's bigger than what the hell I'm doing right now. So God's like, no, go to the beach. Can't go to the beach, God. Oh, well, go in for the drive in that nasty storm. But it was fun. I haven't driven in a storm like that in God knows how long. rest and retreat, right? Quiet contemplation. And God was telling me messages about the symbology of that storm for me. That's how God speaks to me when I'm out in nature. Even though I'm literally in my car, I'm literally in the middle of a storm that He created. Okay? So get out. Some of you are getting in your own way by doing too much. You're working too hard. You're forcing the situation. You're pushing. Push it to the limits. Rick Ross. That's a great song, by the way. Some of you are Rick Ross fans. Let's look at self-forgiveness. When you play more, you're less moody and grumpy and tight-wadded. Now get your panties in a bunch. Yes, I said it for those of you who know I don't like that word. Anyway, self-forgiveness. You've been very hard on yourself lately, using harsh words towards yourself verbally or mentally. While it's healthy to hold yourself up to high standards, this card says that you've bordered on self-abuse. Everyone makes mistakes, and it's normal to feel regret occasionally. What's important, though, is how you handle these mistakes. As you focus on your positive attributes, your self-esteem will increase and your stress level will be diminished. Remember that guilt is the opposite of love. Your guilt doesn't help anyone or anything, but your divine love helps everyone, everywhere. Affirm, I ask that all effects of my mistakes be undone in all directions of time, and I now release all guilt completely. I love my true self from top to bottom. Okay, I just got a hit, and this is for somebody specific. But let me get to this first. That guilt, making mistakes. Again, maybe it's not playing with your kids enough. Maybe it's not joking around with them enough. Whatever this is for you, not engaging in those things that you love to do, music, whatever, okay? You put work ahead of playtime, right? You worked too hard and you didn't play hard. And you're thinking that the damage is done. It's not. This is now the time for you to fix this. But again, you're asking God to help you through something. God is asking you to play more. Remember, we can ask for God to work these miracles and stuff, but we have a part in it. We gotta do our job. Faith without works is dead. Miracles without works is dead. Manifestation without works is dead. We gotta do our part, and that involves some sort of work. Playing hard is a type of work, but it's more fun. So for this specific message, there's someone here, again with that cave energy, or can you feel guilty? There's something about how somebody asked you to play with them more, whether it's your kid, or it could be an adult. I'm getting a strong, divine counterpart connection here. Or somebody told you, you need to play more of your guitar. You need to play more outside. You need to play more of this. You need to have more fun in your life. You need to laugh more. You need to smile more. Right? Because play energy makes us smile more, makes us laugh more, right? It's kid-like energy. So there's somebody here who feels guilty because you didn't really do that for this person. You didn't play that musical instrument. You didn't have more fun in life when they were guiding you to do it. And maybe this kind of had you push yourself away, or because you lived in a cave, you didn't want to come out of your cave, and somebody was trying to get you out of your cave and you didn't listen, or you asked for help for someone to get you out of a very depressive state in that cave, in darkness. Maybe you were in a world of darkness and somebody came along. You prayed to God for someone to get you out of this darkness, but God sent you someone. He didn't just completely lift the darkness over your head, the cloud off of your head. He brought light into your world through someone to get you out of that cave, to get you out of that darkness. And this tied into something that you loved to do as a child. And some of you are realizing this more, and this has to do with something about playing a musical instrument for somebody. And you love doing this as a child, and your person saw this, or somebody saw this in you. And they're trying to get that back. Because what did I say about medication? Because somebody told you playing that thing, that guitar, that whatever, music, is medication for you. It's your medicine. It's what helps you to heal. It's your happy place, right? So there are some of you here, I'm getting strong masculine energy, where your feminine could have very well told you these things. And either you haven't done this yet, or you've been doing this now. And you're realizing, yeah, they were right. You got in your own way by not believing in that. But you asked God for the help, and God sent it to you through somebody, through your feminine, whatever, to help you with what you needed help with. And then after the fact, you started to do that, and you started to realize, yeah, this is what was missing. This is what I needed to be doing. I needed to go back to doing what I love to do, what I loved to do as a child. Playing outside, having more fun, playing those instruments, playing games, right? I'm hearing like Uno and Skippo and things like that. I'm hearing such strong energy of Uno here. Maybe you were kind of a little standoffish to go play games with family, like game night or something like that, or even video games. And now that you're doing more of this, you start to realize, man, I missed out. Don't beat yourself up. It's never too late. Ever. It's never, ever, ever too late to go back into playing with your kids, or playing board games, or engaging in family night again, game night, whatever this is. Playing those instruments, playing with sand, playing with Play-Doh, right? Like the other day, I think it was Mother's Day, I was talking to one of my cousins, and we were playing with Play-Doh, or I was making stuff, and my other little cousin was wanting me to make like hamburgers and hot dogs out of Play-Doh, and I was doing it. And I used to talk, it reminded me how as a kid, I wanted to eat Play-Doh. There was one time that I chewed on it. It's the saltiest thing. I was like, oh God, this is gross. But that's what I did. I didn't do it this time, but it reminded me of that. And I was like, I like the feel of Play-Doh. And I was making things and creating little balls and making all this stuff, right? We're allowed to do that. Maybe this is for somebody to go out and buy some Play-Doh and start playing around with it. But again, for those masculines who are feeling guilty, or a masculine here is feeling guilty because of that, again, you're about to do something. You've worked very hard on self-forgiveness for your past mistakes. Stop beating yourself up. There's no need for this. You've been forgiven. You are forgiven. You were forgiven from day one. Okay, this came out of left field. There's somebody here who lost a child. And it could have been due to you worked too much. Or something happened during the pregnancy. Or maybe something happened after the child was born and now they have some issues or something like that. I don't want to say issues. That's not what I want to say. But there's some sort of health thing for somebody. This is not for everybody. Or there's something about you worked too hard. You tried to work too many jobs, especially if you're a single parent, or you were very gung-ho about work, and like you worked all the way to the end of a pregnancy or something like that. That's for just for specific people. Very specific people. And maybe you feel guilty because maybe your doctor had said, hey, you didn't have bed rest. Maybe you need to take it easy. Maybe you need to slow down. And maybe you didn't. And it did some damage to the fetus or something else. Listen, if I just hit something in you by saying this, again, we all learn from that stuff. And I don't really want to be pointing out that was a big mistake. Because some of you are kind of thinking it was the biggest mistake I could have ever done. You did what you needed to do. You did the best you knew how. Maybe there's those of you, if this is a working hard thing and something happened with a child or whatever, a pregnancy, you were probably accustomed to working because of your parents, because of what you saw growing up, okay? It's now time for you to enjoy life again, if this is for you. And you can't be trying to fake it either, because somebody may be trying to fake their happiness, but deep down inside, they're living in a cave. They're isolated, they're alone, they feel very bad about themselves. All right? And again, if you've asked for that help, accept the help that heaven has given to you with whatever that is. Some of you, it's through a person. But at the end of the day, guys, do not beat yourselves up for anything. God knew you were going to make that mistake. God knew you weren't going to do that thing. You were going to step it up. You were going to go backwards, whatever. He knew. He's just trying to get you to understand that you were forgiven before it even happened. But there's also kind of like asking God, remember, when it comes to mistakes, it's important to learn from them. Okay? If you keep repeating them, that's not helping you. Go have some fun. Hold on. I need to drink my tea. Gotta make sure I don't set my armpit on fire. Let me tell you, you see with my immaturity here, there's this thing my sister and I had with armpits. Like, for me, armpits were just weird, right? Armpit farts or whatever. Like, see how where I'm going with this? I can't get away from that stuff. Like, it just makes me crack up, right? That's why I said they had, my guides had me say that joke. But it's kind of like, you know, we would make jokes about, you know, did you wash your armpits if we smelled something funny? You know what I mean? It's, you can't be afraid of doing that stuff, guys. You can't. You can't. I guess it helps me because I'm Gemini Sun or whatever, and I am Leo Rising and Leo North Node, and that is childlike energy, you know, stuff like that, youthfulness. But, I mean, it doesn't mean that others of you can tap into that energy either, okay? Maybe there's some sort of, like, harsh aspect with your Gemini, your Leo in your chart. But anyway, we have listened closely. This could also be listening closely to divine guidance being channeled through this message, and also to your intuition, okay? Maybe God's telling you, hey, let it go. Forgive yourself. You've been forgiven. Maybe God's already telling you, stop. You're okay. Even though you didn't do these things, you messed up, because we all fuck up. I've done it plenty of times. God still sees you as his perfect child. You are perfect in his eyes. Why? Because he made you. Okay. Pay attention to your intuition, to your vibration. You're working too hard. You're doing too much. Listen to your body, especially if you feel sick, if you feel tired, if you feel like you're going to fall apart, or you get angry a lot, you get stressed out a lot. Those are demonic energies, guys. Those types of energies take you out of alignment with true peace, and true peace is of the light. It is of God. All of that stuff leads to health issues and God knows what else. Listen to your body. Listen to what God is telling you. Listen to your instincts and trust them. Okay? And if you're feeling guilty for having fun, stop doing that. Stop. There's no need for that. You are allowed to enjoy life, because that puts you in alignment with God and his purpose for you in your joy. Our purpose in life is to have fun, have happiness, and feel fulfilled. That's the main thing, and to be in a true state of peace. So listen to your inner voice and trust it. And if God's saying you've been forgiven, or maybe somebody's already told you you've been forgiven, pay attention. Because if somebody said that to you, that is truth. And God sent you someone to understand that. And look what is after that. Forgive them. Maybe you need to forgive yourself and somebody else. When you can't forgive other people, it's because you can't forgive yourself for something. You may be putting blame or fault on somebody else for something that had to do with you. And you're projecting it onto them. There's something with trust issues here. But what it is that you haven't forgiven yourself for something that led to something that you didn't want, or led to something that you feel guilty about. When you can't forgive others, it means that you can't forgive yourself for something. Forgive yourself for accepting something, or not accepting something, or allowing things to happen, or just forgive yourself. Yeah, that happened. Okay, let me move on from it. Because at the end of the day, it isn't always 100% our fault, everybody. God had you go through this to better understand that He loves you regardless, that He forgives you regardless. And when God shows us this, His mercy, His grace, that tells us that we have the ability to do that for other people. And this card comes up often. There are still some forgiveness issues with some of you, or some of you, you're working on this really hard. Maybe you have already forgiven someone and forgiven yourself, right? Because this is really stemming from self-forgiveness. And that's going to help you forgive other people. And your heart is going to feel light, it's going to feel joyful, you're going to feel more blissful, you're going to feel more freedom in your life and more fulfillment. You can't have the desires of your heart manifest without this. Okay? You can't. Some people still don't believe me, but it's not my problem. Some of you are still harboring this. You need to do some really deep inner child healing. Some of you, this is not forgiving your parents, not forgiving yourself for something as a parent. It could stem from a lot of things. Maybe you have a hard time forgiving God. That could be for somebody. Wow, a meeting with God is overdue. God wants you to speak to Him about this. Some of you may have already done this, right? Accept heaven's help. Maybe there's something, like I said, you're having a hard time forgiving yourself for not listening to someone, something, God, somebody else, like I said earlier. This is the gateway to having everything. This, when you are able to self-forgive and forgive others, it clears your heart chakra. And you have so much peace in your life and tranquility. It also reverses aging. Because forgiveness affects our outer appearance. It affects our health, our organs, all types of stuff. Some of you have a hardened heart. Some of you feel like really tight wadded up because of forgiveness. If you want that to change, you're going to have to learn to self-forgive and forgive whoever has done you wrong. Some of you have worked very hard on this because you have been listening to your divine guidance, you've been listening to God, you've been having meetings with God. And it wasn't easy for you. And now it's time to just play. Because you've done the hard work. Let heaven now finish that thing you've been praying for. depends where you're at. Don't be lying to yourself thinking that, yeah, I've forgiven myself and other people. If you know in your heart of hearts, like, yeah, I still have to work on that, keep working at it. Go talk to God about it. Some of you, there's been a God complex. 333, Ascended Masters are very close to you. Jesus, Mary Magdalene, Mother Mary. Okay? Christ consciousness is in this card. Christ consciousness is all about forgiveness. This is going to raise an eyebrow for some of you. I'm channeling it. Mary Magdalene forgiving Jesus. Jesus forgiving Mary Magdalene, which is what some people kind of already know, but Mary Magdalene did have to forgive Jesus. Newsflash, okay? I'm getting this from them, all right? Jesus forgiving Judas. Okay. Is it Elijah forgiving Enoch? If anybody knows this, put it in the comments. I may have gotten the names incorrect. Even with Job. Job was getting to the point where he was getting on God like, what the hell, God? And God was like, Job, I need you to look at something here. Forgive me, God. I didn't know. I didn't understand what you were doing. I'm seeing in the 3D. Right? Mary even, right? Nothing really worked out for Mary with her marriage, with the birth of Jesus. Everything else that ensued after. She may have needed to have a meeting with God often because she was like, God, why? Like, why can't I have what I wanted? It wasn't part of God's plan, right? There's all types of stories of forgiveness, not just in the Bible, but in other things, right? The forgiveness of the feminine towards the masculine is a huge thing. Because when a true divine feminine Christ is able to understand why they went through what they went through, that's when she really ascends. And that's when she's truly of Christ consciousness, which is the whole point of these divine counterpart connections. You were supposed to be example of forgiveness, self-love, self-care, Christ consciousness, understanding, compassion, forgiveness. I said that already. Truth. A lot of you have a lot of help from the Ascended Masters here. Some of you may be incarnation of some of these Ascended Masters. And that actually is evidenced in your birth chart. There is a marking in your birth chart that determines if you are an Ascended Master or not. But I'm not going to talk about that here because that would have me, that I only give that out when I read birth charts for others. But there is a marking in your birth chart that is an Ascended Master marking, along with starseed markings. Okay. So some of you, you've been through this. You've worked with the Ascended Masters very closely. Jesus, Mary Magdalene, mainly Mother Mary. You've listened closely. You've done your work. Now it's like you let go of the guilt. Some of you have already let go of the guilt. Now it's time to just enjoy it because now God and the Archangels and the Ascended Masters and everybody up there, your team, they're now going to work the miracles. They're now going to do the supernatural stuff. They just want you to rest. They want you to retreat. They want you to just have fun this week especially. Okay? Go back to doing what you love to do. And yes, you can do some of your stuff every now and again, right? But don't push it. You are ascending. Some of you are ascending. Here's to a fresh start. Some of you, you're going to have that fresh start. You have that second chance, whatever it is. Trust in what God is doing. Maybe you've been praying for a fresh start, for a second chance, to just your life to be completely different, but bigger, better, brighter. And you're wondering when it's coming. It's coming. Have faith, it's coming. That was evident in my live stream last night. Okay. But you have to do your part. Forgiveness doesn't help anybody. Lack of forgiveness doesn't help anybody. The devil's trying to get me to mess that up there. You have unlimited potential to forgive. You do. Because you are God's perfect child. Think about all these things you have done. And what has God given you as a result of it? Mercy and grace. Some of you need to give grace to others too, and to yourself. Why are we going to harbor all this stuff? For what? What does that do for you? Robs you of your joy and your peace and your happiness. Why do you want to live life like that? Do you really want to live life like that? It's up to you. You want to be a tight ass, a hard ass all the time? You want to just be sitting there and attracting lower vibrational things out of your life? It's up to you. You have a choice. I could say a whole bunch of other things, but my guys are like, don't worry about it, Jess. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, you do have a limited potential. Yes, 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 you have the ability to forgive yourself and forgive others. Yes, you can let go of old guilt. Yes, you can give yourself grace and mercy. And yes, you can do the same for somebody else. Yes, God does this for all of us. Every now and again, I think about what God has done for me in my life. He's given me so much grace, it's not even funny. Grace is when God gives you something that you really don't deserve. Especially if you keep making the same mistake over and 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 over again. And then he gives you a miracle and then he gives you a blessing. He's like, yeah, you really goofed up several times, but I'm going to give you some grace. Here it is. And sometimes when I think about that, it brings me to tears because it's like, man, God, you really didn't have to do that. But he did. The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away, right? But when the Lord taketh away, that's when the real tests kick in. That's when God's going to see, oh, were you going to chew me out? Are you going to get mad at yourself and everybody else mad at me because of this? Because I took this from you? When I'm trying to get you to see something, there's also something karmic here for some of you. It's the same thing with Job I was talking about, right? When God took 90% of my stuff, my whole life changed. I was like, okay, God. But I never once got angry. I never once cursed God out. I said, okay. He was preparing me for it. And he was, and at some point I thought, did I do something wrong? I was starting to get into this. I was like, oh shit. Now I know there was something karmic with that there. Okay? Because of my past and stuff like that. But I was valuing in life as opposed to what I was supposed to be valuing. Things like that. God's like, you didn't do anything wrong. I'm just trying to teach you a lesson. But understand that I have mercy. I give you grace. You have these things still. And I'm going to see how you handle this situation. And I knew better. Because I was like, God's doing something else in my life. And God is also using me as an example for you and for other people. no matter what gets taken from me. I have a better understanding what God is doing in my life, and I still make time for this. I still put joy as a priority in my life. I still make sure that I forgive if it presents itself. And it makes me feel free as a bird. It's very rare that I'm ever angry at things. Like, I wanted to go to the beach today, and I was like, there's no way I'm getting there. Stormy. The storm just like kind of passed. And almost every time I like do readings like these, there's a nasty storm that happens. I didn't get mad. I said, okay, well, even though he told me to go to the beach, he was testing me. He was like, are you going to get mad that you couldn't go? Because I haven't been to the beach in like 2 weeks. I've been taking care of my parents. And my whole schedule has changed. And I know God was testing me. Because at some point I was like, God, I have all these things to do. Like, I want to go do my thing, go to the beach, whatever. And God's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Let's see how you handle this. God was also trying to get me, just keep doing fun stuff. And you can do your work or whatever, but don't push too much. And, you know, I want you to rest. Because I also run the risk of getting sick too, because both my parents were sick. Now, they're kind of on and off now. But again, I'm saying this for a reason, because I'm supposed to be living by example, being an example for all of you. I had a lot of monkey wrenches thrown in my path the past couple weeks. But God's like, I need you to take it easy. You've worked very hard up until now. Now I need you to really trust me what I'm about to do for you. And let me tell you, it's been hard. Because I'm a go-getter, right? Leo rising, okay? Gemini sun, like, I gotta do stuff. I have all this energy, right? I want to get these things done. I have this heart, this big heart to just fulfill my purpose. And I want to help people. And I want to keep going and going. And God's like, hold up. Let us step in, Jess. Let us step in. And it's hard for us to stop working so hard. Because we've been programmed to do that. Especially me. I got to get this done. I got to get that done. God's like, no, you don't. Two. Keep up the good work you're doing. Again, don't beat yourself up. Right? It's like God says, hey, you need to take a break. No, God, I gotta keep going. I gotta keep doing this because I gotta get this done, blah, blah, blah. And then something happens. You get very sick. You get into a car accident. Something just goes off the rails. You lose something. Something goes wrong. And you're like, oh, I was doing so good, and then learn from it. If God told you to stop, you stop. That's what the playtime card said. If God told you to rest, you rest. He knows what he's doing. And if those messages are coming from me, they're coming from them. Up there. These entities, okay? You have so much potential. You're more powerful than you realize. You can bring about these things that you really desire, but your vibration is everything. And we need to learn as a society to play hard, to have fun in life. It's like Jesus loved spending time with children, right? Jesus had a sense of humor. He had to. The purpose that he had was great. It was grueling. It was difficult. But we don't really see Jesus as being playful. If you watch The Chosen, that's why I love that version of Jesus, because he's making jokes and he's being playful. He's playing hard and working hard. There was no way Jesus Christ was able to do what he did with his healing if he was working hard all the time, which is also why he went out to the wilderness to connect with God. I need a meeting with God. I got to recalibrate. It's the same thing with me. I can't channel as awesome as I do. I can't do the work that I do if I'm working and working and working and putting out videos and doing all this stuff, blah, 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 blah. Can't. I will slow myself down. I will not be able to be at the highest of frequencies to tap into those portals. I will end up blocking communication from what they're trying to give me because I'm not vibrationally there. It's the same thing with Jesus. He goes out there. Okay, guys, I need a break. Goes out in his spaceship. I need to recalibrate. And he does whatever he needs to do. That could be his playtime. Who knows what he was doing on his own, aside from meeting with God? Maybe he did go out to play a game or have some fun or spend time with kids. This is what Jesus is telling me right now. And you know, with the festivals and the weddings, that's fun stuff. But do we pay attention to that when we go to church? When we're reading the Bible? Not really, do we? It doesn't say in the Ten Commandments or anywhere in the Bible, thou shalt work hard, thou shalt work yourselves to death. Where does it say that? Nowhere. Jesus could not fulfill his purpose and heal the way he did and bring Lazarus back from the dead if he did not have some playtime in his life, if he did not take care of himself. There's no way. He had to be at that high vibration to do it, which is why he did what he did. I want to wrap my arms and legs around you. Oh, that would be so nice right now because of the weather. Guitar music. Hint, hint. Fireplace, whatever. Thunderstorm going on outside. Yeah. It's been a long time. Like a really, really, really long time, not going to lie. But that's what the masculines want to say to the feminines. This could also be about you wrapping your arms and legs around yourself. Maybe you need to give yourself a hug. Like, you know, they do that funny thing where I can't do it because I have to turn around. You know what I'm talking about, right? Where this, like, you know, you're pretending that you're like sticking your tongue down somebody's throat, whatever. Not that you see it, but you know the hands. You get what I'm talking about. Maybe you need to just give yourself a hug. I know it's not the same as real people hugs, I know. But maybe this is also just for you, but this is also about self-care and self-nurture for some of you. But this could also be about the masculine wanting to hold you. And I said this in the live stream last night. Because either they're already engaged in this playfulness energy and it's helping them, or it's kind of like they're going through more of releasing or this newness coming in where it's really letting go of that guilt. There also could be reminiscing something about maybe for those of you who've already, spent time with your person, they've done this before. There's this closeness here. And maybe this could also be playtime for them. Everybody has a different definition of playtime, right? Just being there in the present moment in an embrace, right? Not saying anything. That could be part of playtime, because that is retreating, that is slowing down, it is taking it easy. Bottom of the deck is our love is eternal. I see that very clearly now. So some of them have been going through this stuff. They've been learning how to play more, play hard more, and to enjoy life more, talking to God more. They've learned about self-forgiveness and forgiving others or something like that. And they're understanding about what this love really is, what this connection is. Again, love is eternal, but that eternal love ties into forgiveness, everybody. It ties into unconditional love. You can't have an eternal love, let alone experience it in the physical, without that forgiveness thing being a part of your everyday life. So some of them, they see this now. Oh, wow. The card after that is the Christ consciousness card. Is Jesus right here. See, you can't make it up, man. Jesus speaks through me. The Ascended Masters speak through me. Have faith. They're learning to have more faith. There's also something about some of the masculines are going to ask the feminines for forgiveness. They know they've been forgiven by the feminine in the 5D. They just need to actually bring it into the 3D and have the courage to speak about, talk about things and ask for forgiveness in the physical. That's going to be a huge test for the masculines. It's also going to be a huge test for the feminines when they have these heart-to-heart conversations with them, which came out in my live reading last night, when it's like, I think it's Elijah or Eli and Enoch. I know Enoch is there. Enoch was already forgiven before he asked for forgiveness. It's in the Bible. It's an example of Christ consciousness. I bet you $1 million Jesus already forgave Judas, because Jesus knew Judas was going to betray him when he asked him to be a disciple. I don't know if you guys know this, but that is the case. And he brought him in anyway to prove a point to the rest of us. Would you choose someone you knew was going to betray you into your circle? That is the question of the week. Would you do it? I've done it. I'm doing it now. It's not easy. But as an incarnation of Mary Magdalene, that's what I'm being called to do. It's the highest vibrational bonus card. But I say, this is a very high vibrational reading too. It's high vibration all over the place. God is wanting you to get into a place of the highest vibration of Christ consciousness. To be an example of that. And for a lot of the masters, are having a lot of faith in themselves now, in God, and you, and the connection. Because their faith has been tested heavily. So they're having this faith that when they come forward, mustering up, believing, having faith, I've been forgiven, because if you speak telepathically with your person, the feminines have already telepathically told their person over and over again that they've forgiven them. Maybe even in a letter or a text message, they've already told them they've been forgiven. And now the next thing is for the masculines to come in knowing this and having faith and trusting in that. so that they can start their lives. With the feminines, it's to start the joint mission work. That they can let bygones be bygones. There was a flash of lightning right there. That's confirmation for me. For you. Did you hear it? There's the thunder. There's confirmation. You can't make it up. Wow. Have faith in me and in us, for I have faith in you. Feminines, for those whose masculines are coming back for the final time to see if you've learned about forgiveness. You can't forgive your person. You will not have the ultimate love that God wanted for you. Period. God created only one person for us, and that person is teaching us an exceptional amount of things in life. And if you haven't learned those lessons yet, you're going to go through another karmic cycle. But the ultimate love here will only come from your divine masculine. And the same thing for the divine masculine, divine feminine. The biggest blessing, the biggest miracle, the biggest manifestation is the higher love. It's the ultimate fulfillment. It's the Ace of Cups. It's the Holy Grail. That relationship's going to give you the ultimate joy that so many people on this earthly plane do not ever get to experience. And a lot of this relies on faith. I was talking about this. I channeled this. Faith is everything here. And as I said, the masculines are really having a tremendous amount of faith when they come back around, that you will take them back in, that you will allow them back into their world. Just because I'm silent doesn't mean I don't want to talk to you, because I do. They do. They're just preparing. They're just working with God. They're meeting with God every now and again on top of their other lives to make sure that their faith is intact before they move forward. Because they know once they communicate, there's no going back. And there is a little bit of fear of the feminine not forgiving them. But that's the risk that the masculine's going to have to take, right? But I know some masculines, those masculines who are watching this, you know deep down in your heart of hearts, especially if your feminines have already said so, it could be years since they've told you this, months in the physical. If they already did it then, they will do it again. Because they've ascended. They already know. Like I said, after the 333 card, we have you are ascending. I was about to reach out to you, but I got cold feet. See what I mean? They haven't been communicating because of this thing. It's the thing with, I think it's Eli or Elijah and Enoch. Alrighty. They wanted me to look it up. Whoops. Okay, I don't know if this is going to work. But anyway, you guys know what I'm talking about. That's why the masculines have been having a hard time wanting to reach out. Wanting to tell you, look, I just want to do this with you right now. That's it. Because that would be great. Because some of the masses have been going through a lot. And they're like, I want to tell them this. I want to say, I'm thinking about them. Hey, how you doing? Two of Pentacles, want to reach out, they pull back. Want to reach out, get cold feet, all this stuff, right? Because it's like, are they going to allow me back in? Are they going to allow me to talk to them again? Because maybe you had short communication and they dropped off again. And they're like, I want to keep talking to them, right? Just because I'm silent doesn't mean I don't want to talk to you, because I do. I'm trying to find things to say. Trying to really get it off their chest, what they're really feeling, or whatever it is they want to say. But this forgiveness thing has been a thing. Coming back and be wondering if they're going to be welcomed with open arms, right? It's Enoch and Elijah. Yeah. So we can look at Enoch as a divine masculine and Elijah as the feminine, even though, you know, I mean, you take it how it is. Elijah had more feminine energy. Enoch had more masculine. But Elijah was being that example of Christ consciousness. Forgiveness, understanding, compassion, unconditional love. He had a better understanding why Enoch did what he did. And Elijah knew that it was part of his path too. Because even Elijah was being tested with this. And Enoch was hesitating to go back to Elijah. Am I going to be well received? Are we going to be able to let bygones be bygones? Are we going to be able to move past this? Right? Feel really guilty, man. And what I did to Elijah, what Enoch did to Elijah was not good at all. But hey, everybody makes mistakes. We all have a choice. Not one of you here is exempt from making mistakes. Not one. Not one. But we learn from them. So we need to allow the masculines to learn from their mistakes too, as we learn from ours. I made mistakes with my masculine too. I'm not innocent. I'm not a saint. Neither are the rest of the feminines. But we learn. So yeah. They're really garnering a lot of their faith. It's like the miracle, like the prodigal son, right? The miracle of the feminine, amongst other things, welcoming the masculine with open arms. More like, oh my God, hey, how are you? I haven't seen you in so long. I'm excited you're here. I'm excited to talk to you. I'd love to catch up. What's been going on in your world, in your sector of the universe? Oh, I almost want to cry. It's going to be a very emotional conversation. When you see each other, for those of you who are ready for a permanent union, when you see each other, it's going to hit both of you hard. I feel it. There's going to be a lot of tears, but tears of happiness, tears of joy. Because for some of you, it's been a very long time since you last saw your person. Since you last heard from your person. Or you've engaged in a deep conversation with your person. It's gonna be beautiful though. And the masculines feel so relieved. He's gonna know. Because if the masculine ends up seeing the feminine, the physical with this, or some of them are doing, when he sees the feminine again, he's gonna know. And the feminine's gonna know that he's not the same person he was when they left each other, when they went their separate ways, like that Journey song. But the masculine's gonna know. For sure. For sure. Oh, I see it in her eyes and her face, her body language. This is not going to be doom and gloom. It's not going to go south. And that's going to give him a whole lot more faith and reassurance in things. So yeah. The Ascended Masters are definitely backing this up. As long as the feminine and the masculine continue to work with them and to emulate them. Because that's what we're called here to do. Like, I'll be honest, like, for me being predominantly the divine feminine, I can only imagine what it would be like to be in my masculine shoes after everything that's transpired. And for me, always being compassionate and understanding. When he would come out distorted, you know, or he would be reactionary. And every time it would happen again and again, but I would forgive him every time. I would still welcome him with open arms every time, but it was, you know, sometimes it wasn't well received on his end. And I had to just, like, not feel guilty, not feel bad. And I would pray more for my person, pray for myself, and continue to do my work, my healing. But when God sends you a blessing and you turn it away, it's a very hard pill to swallow. So I put myself in my person's shoes. I don't want my masculine to have any fear about anything when he comes back. I want him to be at peace, to be at ease. I want him to feel safe. Because we all know when we're confronting somebody about something, we need to confront it from a place of compassion, understanding, and peace, and unconditional love. Hey, what do you want to talk about? We're not throwing jabs at people. We're not throwing daggers. We're not throwing to force something down their throats. Especially if they come back and say, yeah, you know what, I fucked up. But you got to remember, you fucked up with something too. We all have done it. And this is not to insult you or belittle you. It's just the truth. Right? Like I said, I didn't make some smart decisions. I messed up with my own person too. Okay? Again, I'm not free and clear here. I'm not. So I gotta put my Queen of Swords aside. I gotta put my, like, distorted feminine aside and be like, okay, I gotta come from a place of Christ consciousness. Because that's what Jesus would do. That's what Mary Magdalene would do. That's what the disciples would do. We have the ability to do this. So I know, in order for this to work out in a positive way, I have to be positive about it. I have to have my faith. And I have to welcome my person with those open arms. Like that Journey song. Hoping you'll see what your love means to me, open arms, right? Because if it weren't for him, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be in my unlimited potential, and I'm still growing, learning, and evolving. I wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't be in the state of peace and bliss and happiness that I am now if it weren't for him, if it weren't for this journey, if it weren't for everything that I've gone through. I'm grateful for that. It taught me a whole hell of a lot, especially my person. He was the only one who really pointed things out. But he was coming from a place of unconditional love too. And it wasn't always hard to hear. Easy to hear. It was very hard to hear. And for that, I'm grateful. He helped me learn from my mistakes. And the feminines are helping the masculines learn from theirs. It's not a one-way street. It's not one-sided. So So I'd rather be in a state where, hey, it's nice to hear from you. What's going on? I always ask about his son. We both have sons the same age, which is kind of crazy in itself. When we're talking about mirroring, our birthdays mirror each other, and we both have one child, a son, the same age. They're just months apart. So those are super mirrors right there. But anyway, so yeah. You want to give them the platform of peace. You want them to just, okay, everything's going to be all right. It's nice to see you. Right? Because the feminine at this point should have already let bygones be bygones. She should have already forgiven the feminine a long time ago, just like Elijah forgave Enoch well before Enoch came back. That's how you're able to better manifest permanent union, feminines. And I mean full forgiveness. And forgiveness for yourself too. And this is also forgiving other people, not just your masculine. You can't just forgive your masculine and not forgive somebody else that you're harboring resentment towards. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't. You gotta forgive everybody. Alright? But anyway. Okay. They're now telling me, Jess, it's playtime. I'm gonna go hook up my gaming system. I gotta remember where it is. I wanna play Prince of Persia. But I don't know if I remember the buttonology. But anyway. This is key to having everything you want in life. But you gotta be emanating this. You gotta be operating like that, extending that out, but also being in a high vibrational state. Forgiveness is a divine quality. It is of the highest vibration, of agape level. You're not at agape level, you can't have permanent union. It's divine, sacred union. I said forgiveness is a divine state of being. Without this, there's no sacred union. Doesn't make any sense. I don't care what other people say. I speak truth here, and they speak through me. True love without forgiveness, you won't have it. I would want to be forgiven for what I've done. Because I know I will have to ask my masculine for forgiveness. How about that one? It's not one-sided, feminines. You think you did nothing wrong? Think again. Both of you do. Otherwise, you don't learn the lessons. Okay? That's why it's here twice. There's also an energy of playing around with other people, like messing around. I just heard that. Honesty is the best policy going forward. Alright guys, well, that is your reading. Don't forget that I do personal readings if you're not already aware of. If you want to sign up for a Capella membership, check them out, 7-day free trial. Alright, I do members only live streams. I have a lot of bonus content. You get to download my mobile app and access all of my awesome content on my mobile app. You get to directly chat with me on my mobile app. You can even book your readings on the mobile app. If you want to get the Auriga tier, which is the best value tier, that comes with a lot of amazing stuff, a lot of bonuses, a lot of goodies. You get exclusive access to my Auriga Circle forum, where I give you hints and secrets about things that God has shown me with regards to permanent union, with the astrology and that too, and some other stuff that they are having me line up to reveal to these members based off of my own journey and what God has been allowing me to share with others, but only at the Origa tier. A whole bunch of other awesome stuff. I do have tarot reading packages where if you get more than one reading in a package, there's healing packages, coaching packages, past life packages, you name it, masculine packages, feminine alignment packages. If you get one of those, you save money instead of booking each individual reading over time, okay? And there are payment plans for all my individual services and my packages, I believe. I have to check that one, but my individual services, I do have payment plans for. If there's something you want to arrange with me specifically, email me, or if you download the app, send me a chat message in the chat message in the app. Everything is in the description box below. All the links are everything. If you want to submit a donation to support my work, my channel, all the donation links are in the description box. I also have an Amazon wish list if you would like to purchase something from there to kind of help me add more to the types of tools and things that I use, my space, whatever that is. There's a bunch of that stuff there, okay? Alright guys, so that concludes your reading. Thank you so very much for watching this video, for subscribing to the channel if you haven't already, and for illuminating that thumbs up button. I would greatly appreciate it. I wish you the best today. Always, I send you so much love, and I hope I illuminated your well-being today. Again, this is Jess from Capella Wellness, starting now.